You are listening to the Fuerte Network.
Hey bitches!
Hey bitches! Welcome back to the show.
All
you
three
whores.
Because we're down to 3.
Your mom quit on us?
Yeah.
No.
Should've
She's
too
like,
much.
fuck this shit.
She's like, I'm done with your buffoonery.
Buffoonery, clownery. Speaking of clowns, we have guests today.
Hey!
We know this clown, Renee,
What's up?
friend of the show, the clowniest fucking clown
The clownery.
of Clown Town.
Shut up, dude. I'm a fan too. Shit.
Well, yeah. Actually, my best friend's Juan. So.
Oh,
Wow. Where is he?
You know
Exactly.
where he's at.
Not here.
And then we have our very good friend, Aaron Hanchy, first time on the show.
Hi.
God, the last.
I'm glad
to come back.
I'm glad I tricked you.
Call
I'm
me
glad I
clown
tricked
again. I'm
you.
gonna be suing you for libel. You hear from my attorney. So.
See, those are all the white things to say. Sounds
Those are
white.
very.
Do you know who my father is?
And it starts.
Thank
and
you.
it starts.
It starts.
Dive right in.
We just wanted
Oh
to-
my father.
we just wanted a white person to abuse for
Right.
once.
Welcome. Why did I get
to
myself
America.
into this?
To our America.
Hi. Glad to be
You
here.
know better than to listen to this bitch.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
I actually tricked you. We're not
appreciate it.
even talking about the topic I told you about.
Oh, great.
We're just talking about how much we hate white people.
I'm out of here. Bye. This is great. Have a good one.
Just kidding. We love some of you.
We do.
So,
I haven't seen you over a year.
We haven't seen you in a very long time.
Yeah, I went into hiding. I was,
In the suburbs
No,
where you
it's
live.
been a while.
Gilbert?
Moved out of state for a little bit. Came back.
Wait, Gilbert,
and-
right?
Yep.
Was it really?
Gilbert.
Ah!
Do you want my full address, zip
Yes,
code,
please.
it's color of the
What time you leave your home?
I mean,
When do you
full
go to the gym?
schedule?
Alarm code.
now what time will you leave?
Actually,
Now what
while you're
time you...
out there, can you do something? Yeah,
Might as well,
I'll give you the
might as well.
garage code. I knew they just let my dog.
Nah, man. Hey, not what time you leave. What time do you get back?
No. Did you hear that?
What?
So we're basically giving him all the deets, so we're gonna rob his place. But he's like, yeah, go ahead and walk my dog.
Well, if you're gonna
Like,
be
if you're gonna do
Cassidy
it.
if you're
of it
gonna
all.
be there, the poor guy probably has to pedal. So
I mean,
help out.
he saw Brown and he saw service.
Hey,
Like,
and I know-
seriously?
That's...
I know how
How
much
dare
wine.
you.
Do you want us
is
to
in
mow the
bottle.
lawn too? God.
Oh, no lawn. You're good. It's turf. Yeah.
Turf.
Drop the hook on that one.
Oh, you hit on my other deal. All right, cool.
He installed it.
Oh, nice. Love you,
Real
Theo.
nice, Aaron. Real nice.
When I was getting back in,
So we known Aaron
Yeah.
for what?
it's been
I've known you for
12 years,
yeah,
11,
very
12
long time.
years.
I've known you for about 9.
Too long.
too long actually.
With him, yeah, I agree.
But yeah,
Because we met you through Tavares,
Yes.
which is your hubby.
that is correct. Yeah.
I met you first before I met Tavares.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
Pardon?
interesting.
I met you at volleyball.
Was
Remember
that
when we
where
used
we
to
met?
do? Remember we used to do volleyball?
Oh yeah.
We had one weekend where we did it.
I think I
on
did it
24th
once.
Street. Yeah.
She
That
never
was-
came back.
So I can't with all this.
Wow. Why are we
She's all-
friends?
She's all like, no, because it was on 24th Street in Southern. And she's like, not in this neighborhood.
Woo! That is
Bringing-
a false accusation, but
I
you know,
mean,
That sounds
it
like
was
you,
fun.
though.
I had a great
I had a
time.
great time. When she left, we're all like, were the ethnic festivities to your
Do you
liking?
like
I did.
Do you want an
um,
elote?
We did meet there. We did,
Yeah.
and I fell in love with you.
Likewise.
Yeah, I love about you.
Somebody
just,
has to.
You know, it's so easy to be friends with you. It really is.
Well, it's easy to be friendly with somebody who's easy.
Yeah,
I mean,
and-
to be friendly with.
Right now,
Well,
you're just taking the, you're destroying everything, though. I mean, it's all over from here.
Apparently, that's what I'm good at.
Yeah.
She's good at burning bridges these days. You light them up, bitch. Gasoline and everything.
I don't like them up.
And
I
that's
love
just-
them up. Let's go.
And that's
Well,
just
actually, no.
expensive.
You know what? You're right because the other person's actually one lighting and providing the fuel.
Oh, absolutely.
If you really think about it.
When
You're
you give me fuel, bitch, I'm gonna blow a bitch up.
Damn.
Simple as that.
Did you hear that, Phoenix PD? We got him. We got him.
The direct line.
We
with
got
the,
it.
with the police.
Next thing you know, they're begging me for the big apartment complex fires.
God
I had nothing to do with it.
I just met him 12 minutes ago. He seems like a really nice guy. All right.
Give him some time. Give him some time.
Give him some time.
No,
Give him a minute.
that is a correct assessment. Thank you for
No,
that.
Hey, you're welcome,
Aaron's
man.
everything.
Aaron's
everything.
We love her. She's a
Yeah.
Beyonce fan.
Oh, very much so.
I mean,
I
you
would love
falter
to.
for
I
it.
would love for Memo to give you his thoughts about Beyonce.
knows.
We've already had this.
We've had
We've
this
already had it.
conversation.
And I'll never forget when we were in Flagstaff. I'll never forget. And I find
Or
myself
camping
like quiet moments. I'll just think of fun times I had. And it was snowing. and this bitch had like this down comforter as a
I
jacket.
know the big bird,
with
yeah.
the fur. No, it wasn't just a little collar. It was the fur.
Oh yeah.
It had speakers in it. And I was like, you need to play J-Lo and
gotta
LL
keep
Cool
on.
J's.
All I have.
Something all I had, love is what you had, whatever.
Yeah.
And you started playing it and
then
walking, and I was
walking
like,
to the
you are
streets
a
of
mood.
Flagstaff.
Yeah, the streets of Flagstaff. It was a mood. I loved
Oh,
it.
remember we went
But
to
we
your
already had
favorite
this
store?
discussion.
The crystal store.
No, that place is great.
He hates that fucking
No,
place.
Why?
let me correct. Let me
I found a great
correct it.
stone there.
I think it's a great store, but
The
I think
dildo one?
what I hate is the
For
fact
the
that
love of God.
every time we're in Flagstaff,
Sorry.
that's a mandatory stop.
Yes, of course it is.
No.
Of course.
It's
what
like
else is fucking
part of
there?
their claim to fame in Sedona too.
It's
I mean,
crystals
you don't go to
and
those places
your
to go to
cousin's
Walmart. You go to
warp thingy.
the local.
Oh, the
Portal.
vortex.
Vortex.
Oh yeah, those things too.
Yeah.
Those are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I do the vortexes.
I go for the
The
beer.
crystal stores.
Crystal
Come
store. So, anyways, thank you for coming. We have a lot to talk about. But first, let's talk about hot topics.
Ooh.
What's going on
Ooh.
in the country?
Ooh.
Because it's burning,
Nonsense.
fucking down.
Non-fucking.
Well, first, we have to say it. J-Lo got married.
yes!
Again.
It's a fucking gag.
Again.
This is
She
what
did?
marriage? What marriage is this, Nemo?
Fourth.
How was the wedding?
Kill.
Because you were clearly invited.
Clearly.
Because your
I
best
was there.
friend.
No,
Yeah.
I mean she got married in Vegas. I think that was perfect. That was most unexpected.
Does she still have a residency in Vegas?
No, they
So did
fired
that end
her.
in
She
2016?
fired her. Yeah.
Wow, I'm behind
No,
the
that
times.
What
ended
year are you?
2018.
What year is this?
No, that ended 2018. Sorry, started in 2016.
Okay.
She did it for 2 years
Where did they get married?
Face.
in Vegas.
Where?
The white little wedding chapel.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
It was literally him, her, and her 2 kids.
Do you think this will be the last one?
God, I
You think
hope
this is
so.
it?
I'm hoping
Nope.
so.
Taco Kisses?
Is this the baseball player?
No, this is Ben Affleck.
No, Ben Affleck.
That was 2 of them ago.
She moved on from
Or was
the
that
baseball
one ago?
player?
Seriously,
Yeah,
what
I
year is
thought they
this?
were-
What year do you think this is?
Her, send it up. They've
J-Lo
been together
to
for over
me-
a year.
It's J-Lo.
Really
You did not just bring.
Oh my god!
Oh,
I'm fucking dead.
I don't
Bro,
keep.
holy shit.
I don't keep up.
I'm
was
dead,
dope,
bitch.
dude.
I'm dead.
How did we not even see
Yeah,
that?
that was awesome, man.
Dead.
That was awesome, man.
And Cub, we're done.
Oh,
That's the show.
I just don't keep up.
She
I don't
did
keep
bring a
up with
fucking
her
bag.
kids.
What's in there?
I want to see.
She
Don't
brought
worry about
tricks.
that bag.
It's like Mary Poppins with like
That's
dildos
all.
and lube.
Dude, I fucking love
poppers.
that band. Well, it's moving.
Got that at Work the World when they were in downtown Phoenix at Orpheum Theater.
Oh,
That's
that is
nice.
Here,
amazing.
right down the street, actually.
Yes. So yeah, she's married. Small little wedding.
I saw this really funny meme, I guess.
Lord.
It was like J-Lo as Thanos and collecting each
I saw that
stone
one
was like
too.
a husband.
I see that one.
Fucking funny.
I saw the other one where it's like, oh, she's only 2 rings away from tying Tom Brady for rings.
I mean, wow.
I mean, I think she's doing it small because she's like, I don't want to be.
Alone?
No, I don't want to do this again
Oh.
and big, big.
Oh,
And then
Well,
oops,
that's
it
what
doesn't
led
work
to their
out.
breakup. Supposedly, was all the publicity that they had around them as a couple.
When
and
was
around
that?
Their wedding.
2000 and.
That was 2006.
Damn.
2005.
Oh, yeah.
2005. 2006.
I'm sure it could cause a lot of strain. I mean,
Whatever.
You think? I would think so. Like, you know, for your entire relationship to be publicized like that.
And it was that the whole Bennifer thing was crazy back then.
Jennifer.
Yeah, it was on South Park.
everything
Everything was
did.
Bennifer.
Yeah.
Jesus
So they finally got. I think they did this today because look, they flew into Vegas at midnight. They got married at midnight. So like it was very like no one's paying attention to us right now.
So say it
Like,
sounds intimate. Was anybody
Yeah.
there?
just her kids.
Oh.
Is
Her
her
mom-
is
her
her is her daughter or son maybe trans?
Her son not trans. She's just non-binary.
Just non-binary.
Did
yeah.
you see that when she introduced her or when she introduced them,
Them.
as them,
Yeah,
they them?
that was cool.
That was big.
Yeah.
But she's actually catching a lot of flack right now. A lot of backlash because she took his last name.
She's
such
Jennifer
an
Affleck?
independent
What's the
woman.
backlash?
Well, no, like, huh?
Oh, what's the backlash?
Well,
I
they're
mean,
criticizing her for taking her last.
His
She's
last
such a
name.
brand. She's she's such an independent woman. Why would she take his last name?
Oh my god.
Like obviously you're never gonna please
'Cause
people.
it's
and people are gonna
different.
talk shit.
Yeah.
But you gotta understand, like this is somebody who's like I get it because this is somebody who's been
Like the one that got away, and now you're
one.
back.
It's the one that got away, right?
Mhm.
Two, this is somebody who's just been looking for love for all these years and has found it in all the wrong places. Backup dancers, girl, sweetie, girl.
I see what you did there.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
and
I
also
like
it's a
that
But
song.
he
personal,
was hot.
it's a personal
I mean,
decision. I mean,
no,
I don't think anybody
absolutely.
should be criticized for taking or not taking a last name.
But
I
just
think
because
that mine's
legally
your
she-
business. It's
Right,
not
absolutely.
emasculating. and
I
it's
mean, I
not-
do understand the point of like you are a brand, that's your brand, but
No one's gonna forget Lopez
Right.
now that you change your last name.
but she,
you know.
Seriously.
it's I think it's something different now. Like she really wants this to work. Like,
But what people
And
don't
that's a
understand-
testament to
There
it.
you
wouldn't it
go.
be?
But
I mean, that's
well,
a commitment.
because she
in
didn't
and
do
of
it before,
itself.
right? She
She
didn't
did
do
it
it for any
once.
other.
She did it once.
Like legally?
Legally.
We can
So-
hyphenate.
To who?
Right?
To when she married Mark Anthony, legally she became Jennifer Lynn Muniz.
No way.
Yeah.
See, and nobody even freaking noticed. So what does it
See,
matter
and that's
now?
what I'm saying.
True.
Like, and only because she published it this time again. Like when she took a picture of the marriage license,
Yeah.
she put Jennifer Lynn Affleck.
Oh.
She signed it Jennifer Lynn Affleck. And because, well, not the, yeah, it's I don't know if it's a license. I've never seen one, so I don't know.
Still burn.
I mean, I've married people already,
That's
right?
true.
So, but,
Always the.
fuckers.
Bridesmaids, never the bride.
always the
Officiant?
The officiant, never the bride.
never the bride. No, but like there was a section where I asked you if there's gonna be a name change, and she filled it out Jennifer Lynn Affleck.
Well, good for her.
I mean, I said, girl, get it. Like, if
Yeah,
you're
get
happy,
it.
Do what
I'm
you
not mad
want
at
to
it.
do. Shit, who cares?
no.
What do you think about Latina taking one of yours?
Who?
A white.
What are you talking about? Oh, what? First of all, I don't follow.
How was that
either,
meeting?
So, but I love them. I love her music. She is on my gym playlist, so I'm not a hater.
And
I
Beyonce
just-
is too. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. Like, her new one though, bitch, give me life.
You said it,
Hold on,
didn't
can I
you? Didn't
finish?
like it.
Can I finish?
I'll let you finish after this.
It's because I'm here. He's changing his
No,
tune.
no,
He
no,
knows
no,
us.
no.
no.
Of course he is.
Super
Just like all her music, it had to grow on me, bitch. Like for the first 100 times I heard it, I couldn't.
I think for some people that's the case. Just
It
because
just-
people, and it frustrates me. Don't you know what? Let me back up. I'm not gonna go crazy fan mode, but some people they say she's overrated, and then they put that before her art, and they always judge it based on that. And it's like
Right.
move that away, give it a chance, because she is the queen.
Okay. What I said was
That is the ending sentence
No.
of a bad
Wait, wait,
argument.
wait,
She is
wait,
the queen.
wait,
She's
wait.
the queen.
Brittany?
No.
ew,
I
gross.
thought Beyonce was.
No one's
What are
not
you talking
straight
about?
boy. No one's
Talk
talking
about
about
I mean, we can
Brittany
go through
here.
all the
Bro,
female
man,
divas and
can-
assign what they are. Their
Renee's
Do you
top
have a
lost.
piece of paper I can write this down? I need to
Don't worry
catch
about
up.
it.
Renee's a little
Don't worry
lost.
about it.
I am
He's
so
drunk.
lost.
No, so like
No, I'm straight.
I didn't like that
Like,
song in the
that's what it
beginning
is.
because it sounded like I feel like it was out of touch with reality. Because like how it talks about like how to
Like the
quit my
lyrics.
job.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right. But when I listen to the
That's
beats,
actually
the
the
beats
reality.
infectious. Huh?
How to touch
Bro,
with
she
the
doesn't
reality.
work a 9 to 5.
Out of touch me?
She's speaking from a, I would say like a fan perspective. She's speaking from like a current event perspective. Like I just
Okay.
quit my job. They work me so hard, working my nerves. Like a lot of us.
And
can
that's really
relate to
relevant
that.
right now, actually.
I mean,
because-
That's-
That's
yeah,
like,
when
they
you-
call it
that's
great
fair. When you put it that way, that's
resignation.
fair.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so
I don't think she was coming as like from privilege. Like she knows that she's fucking super rich, and she
Or-
wasn't trying to be like, yeah, anybody can quit their
Yeah.
job. She
And
was
if you
like,
look at
right
her
now,
art-
Fucking
people
hope
are-
she knows.
if you look at her art over the past few years, like she's definitely taken that stance as an artist where it's enough about me, because that's, faces on the covers and all the songs are about you and your life and your trials and tribulations. The Carter's album cover, Jay-Z and Beyonce were not on it. Beyonce's, she's on the cover art
She
of
was on the
this,
cover
but
of
she's
Lemonade.
speaking from a fan
Yeah,
perspective on this one. So I think she's starting to represent her fans more than like, hey, it's me. We know who you are now.
Right.
So what's next? And I think as an artist, that's where she's going.
Oof.
look at
Damn,
you,
girl.
She's
Well,
my
and
Beyonce
also,
expert.
If you want to hear a conspiracy theory that I'm going to start right now live, Renaissance is supposed to be part 1 and 2, and
Right.
I'm going to end after this. Sorry, but 1 is the album, and my theory is 2 is the world tour. But I don't know. We got to wait and see.
Well, she hasn't toured in a while,
It
right?
started here.
You can clack it.
Heard it?
Clack
Yeah.
it good. Clack it good.
Oh,
Thank you.
Is this your first time? Are you sure? You're doing
She's
a
a very
really good-
natural.
You're doing a really good job.
she loves the camera.
She's well spoken,
She gets it.
considering.
What's next?
Thank you for the transition.
And pivot.
Pivot to House passes the Respect for Marriage Act. Did you hear about that?
No, what's this?
So basically, they are, because of what happened with Roe versus Wade, they're trying to, what's it called? Nip it in the bud, or like
Right.
Nip it in the bud. is
get
correct.
it before it starts to
Get
affect
ahead
us.
of it. Before
Get ahead of it,
happens.
because if they're willing to reverse that, the next thing is gonna be.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
Clarence
gay
Thomas already
marriage.
said it.
I was
already
about to
said it in
say,
his-
yeah.
in
didn't
his
they talk about
opinion.
that already.
So the House passed it with a great majority, with like 47 Republicans
Oh shit.
voting for, which is
Ah.
crazy, and
Does-
which kind of indicates where we're at. Like, this is not a subject that is debatable. Like, it was law, it is law now. when Republicans come to and they reach over the aisle and support this, you could tell like this is something that should not be reversed, right? So
Thank
this
God.
codifies it into law. So when they do reverse it in the Supreme Court, it'll still be the law of the land.
Okay.
And then it repeals the Defense of Marriage Act that was passed in 95 or 96.
Right.
So now it's that defines marriage between a man and a woman.
Right.
So it's kind of protecting and getting ahead of
Obama's
it.
executive
Yep,
order.
and getting ahead of it before they do that, which is great.
That's great.
Nice.
So the problem is that it needs to have we need to have 10 senators from the Republican side to side with all of the Democrats in the Senate, which is maybe impossible.
I was just about to ask that. What do
If-
that's
I mean, if the Senate is also leaning the way that the House is leaning, we would hope that it would pass.
One of the things that I've seen is that there's been several Republican senators who have kind of separated themselves from a lot of what's going on. Hopefully it's enough, but there's been some disconnection from some of the Republicans.
Well, I think because of the January 6th committee and everything that's come out of it,
Yeah.
a lot of people are kind of switching and being and like are not going to continue with like the whole Trumpism and the GQP and all that shit, and they're trying to like separate themselves and kind of stand out apart so they
So they can stay in office.
continue, or they can continue like the party that they thought they were in, or a new version of it. Because I think they're falling apart, like they're splitting.
But,
Yeah,
forgive
they-
me,
well,
but
no,
even
they
then,
are.
they really are. The GOP is really, it's
I don't know what it is
But
anymore.
forgive me, the Democratic Party is not too far behind.
Eh.
We've got a lot of turmoil within ourselves as well.
It's because we can't decide where we want to be. There's moderate Democrats and there's progressives, and then there's super progressives, and we just don't know where the fuck we lie. So we ended up being just weak.
Agreed.
True.
That's a very good assessment.
I mean, if it's one thing that Trump did, it was unite all the Republicans into
crazies,
one,
yes.
one whole group, which is something that hasn't happened with Democrats since like maybe Obama's first term when he first kind of like went on.
Obama's election, the first
Yeah.
election. Was,
So it hasn't happened since then, and now everybody's just kind of like you guys said, just spread out and just like spread.
we
so
can't
dang
get on the
thin,
same
like-
page.
And
Exactly.
that even
So-
starts not just the constituents, but the people, but like even the senators themselves. Like you've got AOC. Like don't get me wrong, I love her because at least she's creating conversation, right?
No.
But on the same topic, it's like, girl, that's a little too much. Like you're way too far progressive. You're way too far for reality at this moment. Like the Green New Deal. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a great idea, and I would support that. But that's expensive as fuck. It's gonna bankrupt our nation. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think that's a great starting point for conversation.
But is it more expensive than the military budget that we have? Is it more
Absolutely.
expensive?
No, I
than-
agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
Oh man.
And again, but to enact something like the Green New Deal, and we'd have to take away from our military, right? And in our military, I mean, there's a reason why we hold the status that we hold to an extent within the world. It's because of the military spending, right? I think where we need to cut back, and honestly, what we need to say is all the money that we give to every other fucking country. If the U.S. said, all right, rest of the world for the rest of the year or for at least 1 month, we're not going to give
You're on
you
a
shit.
budget. You're on a budget.
You're on a budget.
Right? Did
You
you
know, like, for-
did you
at
check
least
your couch?
For one, because if you look
For
at how much
pennies?
money the government spends, like to other nations,
Mhm.
right? I mean, and if we should say for like, hey, U.S., like the rest of the world, for 1 or 2 months, you ain't getting shit. Figure it out.
True.
That could turn so much around for our nation.
Yeah,
but it won't happen.
you know why we're in those countries? Because we went in there to fucking fuck up their
To
shit.
fuck shit up. No,
so
I
it's
agree.
like,
Yeah.
why are we there?
But it's just like those are things that we need to focus on. I agree with, like I said, I agree with the Green New Deal. I think it's a great starting point because in extreme, and it'll get us to a point where we can, at some point, hopefully, when the GOP stops denying climate change, you know, at some point we should be able to have a conversation. And when you're that extreme, we'll meet somewhere in the middle, which should be more on our side.
And that's a good segue because the next thing is the heat wave in Europe. It's like,
Have you seen Texas? They're in 111.
yes. Well, they were in 104 in UK, and that's the hottest they've ever been, and they're literally freaking out.
Well, apparently, supposedly thousands have died across Europe because of the heat
Shut
wave.
up.
Holy shit.
I was reading them when I was reading upon like the heat wave that's hit.
Yeah.
Like you've got Spain in the hundreds, you've got France in the hundreds. These are countries who have never had a
They've
100,
never had
anything
100.
in the triple digits. When you've had these temperatures, they've supposedly. Well, I was reading on Daily Mail. I know, not a great source, but
On Pornhub. I was on Pornhub.
We know where he gets his news. Oh my
Well, no,
God.
because it just
Nah,
my
cool,
brother
man.
was
It's
reading
cool,
the
bro.
email
It's
and he
cool.
just happened to leave it open and I was then it came up. But anyways,
Got in the way of my.
shut the
Hey, bro. You know, gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Ladies.
Daily Mail, not what you're thinking.
Yes.
Daily X-Mail.
Well, they were talking about there's been thousands that have died in Europe because of the heat waves.
Yeah, that whole topic is, to me, it's complex, and addressing it is going to be a Herculean effort. But I laugh when there's people that deny climate change
Right.
and deny science,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
take us back to high school, biology.
Science, biology.
Yeah.
And
Simple.
like there's
Physics.
there's gases that are supposed to keep us warm, keep us nice and cozy, right?
Right.
The Earth wants to be cozy. Because if it's too cold, we're not going to survive, and if it's too hot, obviously we burn. But there's a healthy level and layer of that, and we just keep pumping more and more excess. So it's, to me, again, it's a Herculean effort, but a simple solution. Find the producers, find the things that are putting more CO2 up, and let's find ways to scale this back realistically. Is it going to get hotter? Yes. Are we going to ever reverse it? Probably not in our lifetimes. But can we have a significant impact now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think
So we
so.
can just
But
fucking start
do we
now.
want to have those movements? And I hate the phrase, like, do we want to have the conversation? But like, it just doesn't seem like it. We just keep posting and sensationalizing in the news, like record heat every single summer. What do we hear? The same headlines.
Right.
Hotter, 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 hotter.
Nothing happens.
And what are we doing?
No, agreed.
Record
And there's an article I read. Was it I forget where it was. I don't know if it was Discovery or one of those.
Daily Mail.
No. But they were talking about how Phoenix will never. There will come a time where, for example, where Phoenix will never.
We're not going to be able to to live here.
Oh no! And it's like what projected? 30 years from now?
I just bought a house, you guys.
Yeah, like 20
By
years.
Saying, oh god, oh god.
I mean,
by
like the
2050 or
Powell
so,
is-
we'll never
is
go back
going
down
down.
below 100.
And you wanna go
meat
Colorado?
is not
Meat is going down. It's
meat
getting
is
too
not
hot.
existent. The
I don't-
Colorado River is like drying up. They're trying
Did you
to
hear the Hoover Dam had an explosion today?
Yeah.
What?
There was an
Yeah.
explosion at the Hoover Dam.
Yep.
Wow.
Something overheated or some
terrorist?
shit.
Something
Oh,
overheated.
okay.
Yeah, something
Oh,
overheated in
Oh, but she would have
in
heard about that.
in a
But the
blue
dam
up.
is fine.
Yeah, the
Is she,
dam-
is she fine?
That thing is indestructible.
Is she okay?
Is she okay?
Is she fine?
Yeah, she's fine.
Is the dam okay?
Yeah.
Holy damn.
That
No,
thing
but
is-
that big
Have you
dam, the
ever
big one,
seen a
that big bitch is
documentary on
fine.
that?
Huh?
Have you ever seen a documentary on the Hoover Dam?
No, I have a
Which
life.
one?
I have a life.
Just the infrastructure and how they built it. That thing.
Oh,
is
that's crazy.
How many people died in the building of that?
And
I heard
unbelievable.
a fact that like the first person to die was the first person to die. The son of his also died, and he was the last person to die.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Wow. So, yeah.
Wow.
They opened it and closed it.
Holy shit.
Damn.
Fun facts.
I wonder if they've honored him and both of them in any way.
No, they
with
don't.
Plaques or anything.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
No, they're still there in the concrete.
They literally put them in there.
I believe it. I believe it.
We're gonna get into like
Conspiracy
Conspiracy
show. Word that I'm looking for. Hold on.
conspiracy show.
The show is
What is
taking
it?
a left turn now.
Post tension?
Concrete slabs?
Post tension concrete?
I love that you know that term.
Really holds everything
I can be
together.
What
What is
you
this
know?
post-tension?
You can
You
be
know what
very
that
bush
is?
sometimes.
Yes, I do.
I have
Like,
a big lesbian
Today-
truck outside.
Wow. Who needs rebar when you have bones?
when you have bones,
When you
they're
have bones.
natural.
You know
Wow.
what I'm saying? That's God's rebar.
Yay.
God.
Was I insensitive?
No,
A little-
it's just a comparison, I guess.
mean,
you know.
I get it. I get it.
Enough time has passed. We're good.
You're pretty dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like this. What's next?
Anyways, he's like, I gotta go to dinner.
Exactly.
All right, so today's larger theme.
Oh, we're talking about other things?
Yeah, on topics all fucking day. Talk about brainy.
Ready.
Brainy.
Bitch.
So I wanted to talk about
Why?
what?
Huh?
Why?
I'm fucking
Because this
with
is a
you.
fucking
Go.
show, bitch.
I'm fucking with you. Just go.
So don't
Damn it.
push me.
I'm
Because
You're a pusher,
goes
Memo.
to
I know
the
you're a pusher.
edge.
So I want to talk about
Trying.
multicultural dating,
Okay.
multiracial dating, just because of everything that has happened and like the memes about Clarence Thomas's marriage and how he's not willing. He's like he didn't mention that in his opinion
Okay.
because that's also goes in line with everything that is basically given with Roe versus Wade and gay marriage. So it's like how convenient, and it just kind of be thinking about marriages and difficulties already in marriages, and then adding multi-race, multicultural aspect to them,
Okay.
and how that affects that marriage or that relationship. So the people that I know the closest are you and Tavares, because Tavares is black and you're clearly white.
He's
Wow.
black.
I mean,
He's
it's-
black.
I love that you're assuming. You have no. I'm kidding.
How do you identify?
as a swirl.
But you're not a swirl.
You're gonna have to forgive
you're
me.
cornbread.
Is Clarence Thomas's wife
White.
White.
She's white. Okay, got it.
She's one of you.
White. Wasn't aware.
She's one of you.
No hakabalugi now, bro.
So that's why I just wanted to talk about it, because
Yeah.
I have a complex marriage. Everybody has a complex marriage, and we're gay, 2 dudes, Hispanic. So I have all these layers.
Yeah.
But an extra layer is not having the same race, not having the same culture background.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So just posing a few questions to have some conversation. My first question to you personally is, what hurdles have you experienced outside of being 2 dudes, but also being one white, one black?
I'll be honest. I can't think of nothing stands out that is, too damaging or like physical threats or scary situations. Thankfully, we're fortunate that forgive me, Tavares, if I'm getting wrong on this. I might have forgot something, but we're fortunate enough that we haven't had anything major. I think the thing that we've faced are ignorance, stereotypes, things like that, and those kind of get old after a while. But when you're in a interracial relationship, you're still going to get some people that look at you a little too long at the grocery store, or sort of question, or they don't really put the 2 and 2 together. They don't really believe it, or and you just kind of have to deal with those and correct people if you have the chance, or educate people, give them the information they need to change their opinion, so they don't just assume like, well, this doesn't look right.
Well, what kind of stereotypes do you, not you personally, but what
Yeah.
stereotypes do you think?
Well, there's two that stand out, and I'll speak on his side because I know a little bit about it, and then I'll speak on my side. So like the stereotype that he gets a lot, I guess this isn't like an interracial thing, but it is something that we've heard and experienced, is like, well, you're cute for a black guy. And I know that is something that really irritates him and would irritate a lot of people. I would say you're cute for an Asian guy, you're cute for a Hispanic guy, you're cute for a black guy, and like those you are cute for. Yeah, those what you are cute for. I can't count.
Forward.
Those are not necessary before that statement. Why not? You're cute. I think you're cute, right?
There you
And
go.
so
Plain
that
and simple.
sometimes is bothered me, because I've shown people photos of him like when we first started dating early on, and oh, he's really cute for a black guy, and I would
I can't
correct them and
imagine.
say he's. What do you mean?
I can't imagine how someone can think that's okay to like.
Right?
They don't have any other education. They don't have any other experience that
Or
would correct that
exposure to
behavior.
it.
Or exposure. That to them is normal.
I would say exposure.
So I've
yeah.
corrected him like, well, he's cute in general. He's cute. He's attractive.
Just say
And
he's
then-
cute. Like,
Yeah,
there's
he's
no need
cute.
to say
Right.
for a.
Yeah, and then on my side, which it's annoying, it's frustrating, is like I'll show people photos of him like, oh, let me see your husband or your boyfriend at the time or whatever, and they'll go, oh, he's
Yes.
yeah, right. You already know where I'm going with it.
Fetishizing.
And they'll fetishize.
race.
They will refer to his anatomy, so to speak, and all of these different. You there?
That's the one.
See right there. Let's knock that off.
Stop it. We just
Stop
talked
it.
about
I'm
that.
sorry.
And that's the thing is,
Give you an example.
In case anybody was wondering, okay?
yeah. Good
Jerks.
Lord. I'm gonna censor you for the rest of the program.
And that's all.
And so it's frustrating because I guess the you're cute for a, and the fetishizing, it remove. I feel more on his side than me. I'm offended, and for obvious reasons, just because those sort of things are ignorant. But I feel worse for him because it, in a way, dehumanizes a bit. It sort of takes away an invitation to get to know who he is or accept other traits other than what you've heard in the media or what your friends have said or what you think you've heard about people that are black. And it's like, how about he's a really cute guy? Tell me about him.
That's it.
Let's skip all the other stuff.
The
that I just
labels
mentioned.
first.
Mhm.
Yeah. Also, like
So I hope that answers your question.
Latino men and Latina women are like exotic for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because of the
Yep.
color of their skin, or because they're spicier. that irritates me a lot. Is like they're already othered because they're Hispanic or Latino and they're spicy or they're sexy or they're exotic.
Yes, yeah,
Why can't you just say she's a beautiful woman? That's it.
yeah, exactly.
Hey man, you're a beautiful woman, right? Not even because you're Latina.
I'm gonna show you how much of a woman.
That was so sweet.
That was so nice, Renee.
Wow.
See, I wasn't even
Take that as a
dick,
compliment,
bro.
ma'am.
God,
Not a
man.
woman, ma'am.
man. Not a woman.
You're yelling, ma'am.
Ma'am.
I know that a lot of or could be coming from family too. I don't know if that's your experience personally, but I can imagine that family has a lot to do with that pressure or that ignorance that a lot of families and interracial couples, intercultural couples have when maybe you're the first one. Like everybody has always married within their race, and now you're the other,
Stand
the
out.
outside.
Yeah,
right?
you definitely are doing something that's against the norm and unfamiliar. And those are conversations, I've had, and those are things that I have experienced because, like you just said, I mean, it's not something that we've seen every day. It's not what we grew up around. So I think breaking down those barriers and educating has really helped. And then on his side, his family really, I haven't felt that with his side of the family at all. It's just been both sides. Really, there's a lot of love for both of us, which we're fortunate with.
Nice.
But yeah, not too much adversity, but we're not impervious to it. And I do want to say, I mean, I really recognize and appreciate the latter generations that have experienced way worse than even us at this table could have ever imagined. So the fact that we're here today, it's probably because of the people at that time that educated and pushed it forward. Do we still have work to do? Oh yeah. Lots of work, even in 2022.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
I agree.
It baffles me how we have gone far, but there is so many instances where we just like we look so ignorant.
Take 10
Humans
steps
are
back.
still so ignorant,
Yeah.
and they still do these things that we thought maybe we're over, and we're just not.
But you want to know what's crazy is like you go through, even within your own, like I speak on my experience, right? Like even in his family, they weren't big on the idea that he was dating a Latino. And so
We're
just
talking
like,
about your ex, right?
Yeah, my ex.
Yes.
They were like, there was some of his family who just looked at me like, oh, and I got that that whole reaction of like they wouldn't talk to me, they wouldn't address me.
What ethnicity was he?
He was half
was
black,
half.
half Mexican.
Oh, really?
So there was a couple members of the black side of the family that were not.
Which is so weird because
Because,
he's
like,
half.
right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you're literally like, and
I
that's
didn't know
that's
that.
where I was going. It's like within your own same family that
Mhm.
like he's mixed race, right? So like you would think that you'd be a little bit more open because here's somebody you grew up with,
Mhm.
and then for you to be so much of a dick to treat me this way when like you're like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
Do you guys think that marrying within our race or culture is somehow subconsciously taught to us?
yes.
Through
Yeah.
media.
Through family, through
And,
media, through experiences, through what we grew up with.
I lean more through family that it's
Yeah.
more kind of like put into us and drilled into us.
Because I feel like a lot of families already raise their kids not to be, how do I say this? They're not going to say, oh, you can only marry white. I'm sure there are cases where, where
Right.
that does happen.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
I'm wondering if the behavior that they have is what teaches younger kids. Like talking about that girl, you like that girl, and there happens to be another white girl. Like they never point out people of color and saying, "Oh, that's a beautiful girl. That would be a great wife." Or you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that
Which then
behavior
can
is
make
never
a child insecure about.
right.
Well, but I
Right.
really like this
Yeah.
one over here.
And then that leads back to like the fetish thing of like, oh, he has a thing for black girls, or he or she has a thing for Hispanic guys. Like, why does it have to be a thing
right.
for them to be attracted to an individual, to a person?
Exactly.
I think that
is true.
what a lot of that comes from, for example, like our culture. You're raised to believe in and carrying on the name. And for women, you carry
Family
on the
thing.
name when you marry another Hispanic man.
Yeah.
And for us, it's like, when they play a lot saying una de rancho.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Una allá de la sierra, which basically means like get a girl from the ranch because she knows how to cook, she knows how to clean, she knows how to do all this, right?
Oh.
And so it first and foremost, not only does it teach it what do you call it? Gender conforms women to like they're the ones that have to clean, cook, and do all that stuff, right? But like you're taught to almost, and I think it's a lot more in culture that's still back in Mexico, for example, because they're still there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think when, like, for example, my family grew a lot when they came here because obviously you when you're around other cultures, you're going to open up that ability for them to be exposed to new cultures and new ideas and new people.
Exactly.
So it's natural that there might be even attracted to someone who's of a different ethnicity, right? So like here, like I think you learn to kind of acclimate to that, right? Or it's like back home, like no, like you like when I've gone back and I when I was even with my ex, or like and they would like fetishize him, or they were but that's why though, and it's that mentality because we're like, for example, in our culture, we're taught that you're going to marry another Hispanic. Sorry,
Wow.
I broke it. That you're gonna marry someone else of the same ethnicity, and you're gonna carry on the name, you're gonna carry on the bloodline, blah blah blah. Yeah. And it's just like it's very ignorant. It's very lack of.
Well, I feel like in our culture, it's very prevalent to like point out the differences in each other, especially with nicknames. Like if you're marrying a Cuban, el cubano. Yeah. If you're marrying a black guy, negrito. Yeah. Like we just, that's our thing. Like I don't know why we do it, but we love to point out what's different about each person. I know a lot of times it is for cariño, for like being, what's cariño in English?
Cariño for
affection.
Affection.
Like it's a nickname we give you, right? But I feel like that also translates into a negative thing, like pointing out those differences and saying, oh, you're gonna marry that person or that race or that culture. Like it just puts people in the other category all the time.
Right.
And also the immigrant experience versus like third generation experiences, especially in the US, is gonna be different just because supposedly U.S. is a melting pot with a lot of cultures, a lot of races,
right?
And we do have a different experience. If me and you were living in Mexico, we would have a completely different experience. It would be would be more fetishized. It would be more exotic. It would be more like, oh, that's crazy.
But the crazy thing is, like, even in countries like Mexico, right? There's huge densities of population of like in Chihuahua, there's a huge density of white people with the last name Smith. In Central and in Chihuahua, in Central Mexico and Chihuahua, the last name Smith is very common. In Guadalajara, it's a very common last name. Like for example, like in Chihuahua, there's this huge pocket of white Mormon people that live there, will raise their children based on Mexican culture, but ethnicity.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And there's like, for example, like Culiacan, where I'm from, you have, or my family's from, you have a huge pocket of Asian. Like those Chinos Ley who started Plaza Ley in Mexico, it's this huge density of literally, and that they call that Los Chinos Ley because when they started it, but there's a huge pocket of nothing but Asian people in Sinaloa.
Right. Where I come from is sorry to interrupt.
No, you go back.
Okay. Well, where I come from, small town in the Midwest, and my town was primarily white, and like primarily, I mean, you could probably count on one hand how many black people went to my high school. Or even anybody of any other, anything other than white. So not only dating, but marrying somebody that doesn't look like what my family is used to, I feel the weight and the responsibility, which I'm glad to take on, of calling out, comments and things that don't fit, educating ideas and stereotypes that may have been ingrained but need to change because it's not acceptable. This is my human. And you can't disrespect him, right?
Absolutely.
This isn't a fetish or this isn't a temporary thing. And so that to me is what I face. And with his family, it's a little bit different because, like I said, once I met all of them, it was just a whole bunch of love, and I didn't really get I didn't really get
side eyes.
Anything like that. It was great. And I'm not saying my family didn't embrace my husband or anything like that, but there is a bit of a difference when you look at where I come from and what people are used to. So I would say for people that, I guess to answer your first question, that's probably another thing that interracial couples do face and what we have faced is like, how do you navigate and balance and manage the familial relationships? Because at times people will say things that are not right. there will be situations that are going to spark some heated conversation. But like, can we endure and change it and elevate everybody at the same time instead of banishing people, which we sort of disagree on now and again? Is like, I don't completely shut people out. I do give them another chance. Like if something, and that's friends, not just family, friends or anybody else. Like, hey, that was wrong. Let's see if you meet the measure and improve like your vocabulary, or not even that, like change your thought process. Like you don't profile people, change it and change the conversation.
Yeah. Also, like I think like you mentioned, small towns and not having exposure, like we spoke about before, is difficult to change things if you stay in a place where it's all the same race, it's all the same people, it's the same thing. There's no diversity. Of course, those thoughts will get passed on. Oh yeah, because there's nothing any different. So what
behavior?
We just have to have them be exposed, and I hate saying like exposing that we are normal, because that feels like it's our duty to teach them not to be assholes.
Yeah.
But I also do believe that exposing people to how normal we are, like we're not anything different, we're not anything crazy, we're just human beings just like you, ultimately ends up changing people's minds. Not all of them, but at least some of them that were willing to learn and see. So
you just want to expose people.
I just want to expose myself.
On Daily Mail. You were exposed on Daily Mail.
I'm QWERTY.
That's what you said. Oh my God.
Well, no, like, because I dated a white girl, and it was like, kind of like just kind of going back to what we're talking about. Like, she loved the culture, like the Hispanic culture. Like, she loved the food, she loved the music. The only thing that she didn't kind of grasp was the whole idea of like family. Like, I would constantly be like questioned, like, well, why do you always want to hang out with your family? It's like, well, I love my family. I grew up with my family. Like that's our thing. Like, Hispanic culture is all about your family. And I'm not saying it's not like that with like white or Caucasian or anything like that, but just with her herself, she was just like, well, I don't know, like I don't know anybody in my family who does that. Like we never do anything like that. And I'm just like, well, we do. Like we actually like being around each other. Like, I don't know about you guys. I'm not saying you don't, but like and it was just like a whole different thing, and it ended up being something that we would argue about.
I was just about to ask, because that's another thing when you're in an interracial relationship. How willing are you to become accustomed to those norms on your spouse's side?
Yeah.
So like same with my husband. It's big family. My family, unfortunately, we're spread out a little too much, so getting together is a little more difficult. But I had to like. It was a lot in the beginning, and I had to ask myself, like, hey, like, give into it. Like, I, of course I don't, pack my bags and travel and, meet a whole bunch of people. And like, it can be tiring, but like, that's part of pushing yourself out of those boundaries and like soaking everything up.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason
she do that.
Yeah. And the reason why I don't want to put a label on it, because, she was white, that's the reason why, because, my current girlfriend right now, like, she's also not used to that kind of thing either. Like, like, yes, she loves her family, but she's not used to that whole like huge family. Like my family's like freaking like just typical Mexican huge, right? And they all live between like here and like, like 16th Ave, like we're all just in this big old pocket, right? And so when I would say like, for instance, just like the whole topic of like, just even talking about like a wedding. And this goes for actually both the girls, because they both had the same response. And I always said like, well, I want to have like a huge wedding. I want to have a big wedding. It's not because, I want to be extravagant and show off. It's because my family's freaking huge, and I
have no choice.
Yeah, I have no freaking choice. Like,
I will be killed if they're not invited.
Exactly. Yeah, like I'm gonna get yelled at, like if I don't.
It
so
may be huge, but they know.
Like, oh yeah.
There's 500 people. There's somebody's missing.
Right? Like, I don't know.
Why is that table missing? Why is there two empty chairs?
Still
exactly.
We went to a wedding last year. My husband prefaced. He was like, "Hey, just heads up, you're gonna meet a whole bunch of people." By the end of the night, I was like, "I remember 4 names." It was wonderful.
Yeah, and that's how the X was. Yeah, and I was just like, and like, I'm sorry, like that's just how it is. Like, I don't mind having like a small like first wedding, but we need to have something big afterwards. Like not immediately, but but that's just like, and that's why I don't want to point to like
because
like ethnicity. It's more
could
just
be more of upbringing, life experiences, trauma.
Exactly. Yeah.
So definitely understand that.
Yeah.
But in general,
Yeah.
there are some things that actually do stick. Like we do love to get together. We do love big families in general.
Absolutely.
Which
And-
is weird, right? Because when I was planning my wedding, even though he's
With the flying
half
peacocks
Latino,
and the trapeze.
yeah,
What?
I know.
Tell him
That
your
would
theme.
be
Tell him your
great.
theme. Tell him your theme.
So I
Oh,
wanted,
wait. Open bar, right?
Oh,
Of course.
absolutely.
That's
Of
all I
course.
need to know. All right.
Hey,
cool. All right.
Mexicans don't do it any other way.
Goddamn right.
All right.
My man.
So I had this. Which one?
The circus theme.
So I wanted like this, like elevated like circus, like
Cirque
Cirque
du
du Soleil
Soleil.
kind of style. Like very like tense, very like how do I
It
explain?
was like an elevated,
Over the top.
elegant, over
Over
the top
the top,
circus.
yeah.
Golly. Couldn't just
It
pick
was-
a
He
wants
color.
he wants
It's
to
not a
flowers.
wedding. It's not a wedding. It's an event.
Like, I
Yeah.
really wanted.
Roller coaster.
It's an
I really
experience.
love the idea of like having like I don't know if you've seen them, but there's
Where's
like, this
your
woman
tickets?
dressed like a
Pyrotechnics or whatever.
Yes, bitch. Like she was
They
like
get to
dressed
the altar
in a big
and there's
hoop skirt.
explosions.
Have you seen those? Where they're wearing this big hoop skirt, but it's made out of metal and then holds champagne flutes on it.
Oh,
Oh
my
my
God.
god.
Like, yeah.
Oh,
So
excellent.
your
And
wedding
both-
is going to be like
Who's
sort of
paying
like
for this
the-
wedding?
the-
Right?
Nobody, not because there's no wedding, bitch.
It's gonna be like a Met Gala.
Way to bring
Oh,
up old
well,
wounds,
like-
Daniel.
Oh my god, a Met Gala themed wedding.
Yes.
Iconic. That'd be
Okay,
iconic.
yeah,
Sorry.
but no one's gonna show up in the theme.
Not Mexican.
Not Mexican.
Not Mexican. No, so like
Well, I got 2 dresses. That's it.
I got my hat. I got my boots. It's
And
like,
then they'll be like,
or
what's,
not?
what's your wedding colors? Blue. Okay, that narrows it down to one. Because I got them to wear. You know what I mean?
Cerulean.
No, and then it's unfortunate, like,
Oh.
yes.
I taught him well.
Miranda Priestley us right now.
Are you sure you're not giving?
It's
Ah,
not.
dude,
No.
I don't know anymore.
It's not blue. It's
No.
not lapis. It's cerulean.
He wanted a small wedding. Like, he wanted less than 100 people. I'm like, dude, that's not even my immediate family.
That's not your
Wow.
That's like cousins.
That ain't
That,
fine.
yeah, that would
That's
be on
like-
that'd be where I could relate because like it would be a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
But you know,
That's
Like, we had, like,
Yeah.
I wanted 500. I wanted a 500 person wedding. Y'all thought I was crazy.
That's it?
I wanted
Just
500 people.
Well, your brother was 900.
Something like that.
What the
I wanted
hell?
a 500 person wedding. Excuse me. I wanted a 500 person wedding, and he's like, no, keeping it at 100. I'm like, well, this is my wedding too, fool.
and also keep it 100. Let's just
well, we did.
during
I see what you did there.
I did.
My man.
And so eventually, like, what we had agreed on was a 300 person wedding.
That's the.
That was
that was
the
your
negotiation.
compromise?
That was compromised.
Wow.
300 people.
But see, that's
Mind
great
you,
though.
he wanted 100, right? 50-50. He kept his 50. I got 250.
Sounds about right.
Who made the rice?
All right.
No wedding, because there was no wedding.
It was
Well,
no
who
way.
was gonna make the rice?
That should've
A
been
Thea or
catered,
something?
bitch.
Wow, that's money right there. Oh,
All right.
man.
So
Fancy.
how
Fancy.
if somebody is curious and they want to know and they want to ask, what's the most respectful way to ask you a question about your relationship or anything like that?
Oh, just ask. I think that's the best thing. If
Avoid,
it's coming from a
but
place
avoid
of,
the stereotypes of like fetishes. Avoid.
if it's, I would say, I guess if somebody wants to just inquire like about what, like
if there's any just
tell me
curiosities
about your relationship
yeah,
or
anything like
something like that. I think just if it's coming from a place of you really want to
Curiosity
understand
and like
and it's coming from a place of love and it's not like foul intent and or
Right.
because there are people that have asked me questions like well what about this and it's just like you're not asking me because you care.
No.
You want to
This is just
you want to
like-
confirm your preconceived notions in a way.
Yeah, you're just being super nosy.
So I would say come from an intentional place from your heart and just ask.
And
Seriously.
I mean, I love that. Even on TikTok, I see so many interracial couples, and they're freaking beautiful, and
Stunning.
they're stunning. Not your TikTok though.
have to talk.
I know you don't.
Yeah,
You don't have anything. No, I just feel like they are out there and they're showing their families and they're beautiful. And there is another aspect of this topic, but we're running out of time. But introducing like children, how you raise children in multiracial couples, multicultural couples. That's a whole other topic, but
we'll get into that.
we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
You're the only one here with a kid.
I'm the other one here with a kid, yeah. And I mean, we have had conversations about maybe fostering or adopting multiracial kids, and we just don't have any doubts in our minds that we would raise any kid from any race for any situation just because they need love and that's all they need.
Absolutely.
I'm sure there's difficulties in raising a kid that's not your race, just because, especially an African American kid, just because I know that the difficulties that they experience in America is nothing that I can identify with or put into words or,
You can't really explain.
I can't
from
explain.
a place of authority. I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
So we did have that conversation where like we would have difficulty, but bring it on. Like we are here to help kids, and that's lazy of me if I didn't want to explore what I needed to do to raise a child that's not
Right.
of my race.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Oh, I think it was lovely.
Thank you. Get out.
No, that's a great.
Wow.
That is a totally great point. I think it is great because, like, for example, if and when we have a child, right? Like, that matters because you don't want to. You could, and for example, if we had a Hispanic child, like, we've got a great support system with you and you now.
Hey,
but
thanks,
like,
man.
we have support around us, but are we doing what's right? Can we really, help our child like relate to, what they want to relate to in first place, right? Maybe they don't, maybe they do, but also, so yeah, I guess you want to be conscientious about that.
Also, like,
celebrate Cinco de Mayo.
yeah,
There
which
you
we
go.
don't do.
I mean, we do because we let
We
people
do.
drink.
I was
We
about to say I
don't.
do to the drink specials, so I don't know. You want to talk about stereotypes?
I mean, there's also like this whole other topic about colorism and like being half something and not ever being enough for either race. Like I'm never black enough, or I'm never white enough, or I'm never
Oh.
Asian enough, or I'm never
I mean,
because you
But
were
what
half
does
of
that
something.
mean? Why is that a thing? And I because I've seen like my husband receive criticism from people, and oh, you just want to be around white people, or you're dating a white guy, and why is that a pejorative? Like, why is that a bad thing? Like, why? It's frustrating.
It is frustrating just because it's like, what does it mean to be full something? What does that mean?
Right.
But
I don't think there is such a thing anymore.
it's just something that we created.
yeah.
Society's created.
Well, honestly, I think because of where we live and like being Hispanic, being Mexican, well, maybe not me, but that kind of leads into what it is. Like,
Well, you
know,
kind of
like,
you
yeah.
kind of have to. You kind of can.
Yeah.
like, yeah,
You can.
yeah,
can.
yeah, because like me, like, yes, I'm technically of Mexican heritage, Hispanic, whatever you want to call it, Latino, whatever. But I'm from here. I was born and raised here. I'm currently with somebody who's from Mexico.
You're
And-
Chicano.
Yes.
Yeah, you're
Well,
By definition, you're Chicano.
by definition, yes. All right.
You're Chicano.
Okay. I'm Chicano.
Oh, I didn't know
Ow.
that.
So,
I didn't know that.
but so if I talk to just anybody, here, just like white black person, like, oh, you Mexican, you're Mexican.
Mm.
All right, cool. If I talk to somebody from Mexico, like my current girlfriend, she's like, oh no, you're from here, you're wedo,
You're white,
you're
you're
a
wedo,
white
yeah.
guy, and I'm
You're
just
what we
like,
call gringo Latino,
Mm-hmm.
see,
or
so
you're what's the other word for it? Gringo Latino. There's also another word for. I'll go ahead and keep going.
A coconut.
I was about to say coconut. I've heard that one. Well, not even because I'm just white on the outside too, so whatever. So yeah, it's just
Whoa! Wait, was that for real?
That's a term.
Coconut is it?
Because you're brown on the outside and white on the
Is
inside.
that
Yeah.
a pejorative term, or is that like
Like
is that a
to give
bad?
you-
Does that have bad
No,
connotation?
no,
to
it's
it?
just
like-
it's
No.
just giving you crap
It's
kind of
just giving
term.
you crap, or like
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
It's,
so
it's that
interesting. I've never
nickname,
heard that
it's that-
before.
Yeah.
that-
So
yeah.
yeah, so
It's not
So
a-
many terms. So
Not
many
necessarily a negative.
It's not negative, but it's not
connotation.
positive. Like
Right.
Yeah, it's
if you
just
call
like-
an Asian a banana because they're Asian,
gosh,
that's
I've
that's
never-
offensive because
never heard that one
you never heard that one either.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I've
Man.
never heard that before. Never heard
If
those.
if there's like a Asian that just is acts, I'm doing quotation, acts white, then they're considered a banana because they're
So like,
yellow.
did you
on
ever
the
see the
outside.
movie my Crazy Witch? What is it?
Crazy
Crazy
Rich
Rich
Asians.
Asians.
Yes.
So she refers to
I did.
herself as a banana because she looks Asian, but she's white because she was raised in America.
And that's
Oh.
another aspect of this is like
Got
even
it.
within your own culture,
Community.
community,
Yeah.
you're not because in that movie she was Chinese, but she was Chinese American.
Mhm.
You're not. You're the other. You're
And she
different.
pointed out, she's like, you're
She literally
different.
put it
She
out.
says that way. Yes, you're Chinese. This, you may look Chinese, like, but this is American. You're
Right.
different. And
Yep.
so like, and even within our own cultures, like he says, like if you look at like people from Mexico who are like, if the two of us were to go to Mexico, because my Spanish is a lot better than his, and that's not a read.
It's just
But
what
it's
It's
it
just
is.
fact.
It's just fact.
But like, I wouldn't get criticism whatsoever. I mean, a little bit because they tell
Even,
me I
yeah.
speak with an accent.
Mhm.
They tell me that I look more gringo at this point. But him, they wouldn't let him. He would never live that down.
Nah, I'd get so much crap. I'd get.
They
messed
call him.
with so
They call him
much.
Muero. They call him Gringo Latino. They call him.
You probably make fun of him in Spanish.
Pinche way, you know.
Well, that's just because
There
of
you
your
go,
personality.
Pocho. That's
Pocho,
the
there we go.
Pocho.
I never heard that one. That's a new one.
Pocho.
All right.
That's why you're a
there.
Pocho?
Because the Hispanic community on Chicanos is very hard on Chicanos because that's where a lot like in the Latino community, that's where that you're not Mexican enough, you're not Latino enough, you're not.
You lost your roots.
It's like remember Selena where she went in the movie where she says
Exactly.
they don't think we're we're not
We have to be
Mexican
more.
enough for the Mexicans, we're not white enough for the Americans. It's like dang, being Mexican American is exhausting.
Mhm.
And so there's a lot of truth to that because even for me that's first generation born in the U.S. when I go back to Mexico to visit family, like when I go to Sinaloa, it's a different. You have to kind of live up to the standards of Sinaloa living. You know what I mean? Like, and by the way they talk, by the way they do things, by the way of life there. So there's a lot of that. So when they like, for example, like somebody who's Chicano gets it even worse.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like I went over there recently and everybody was looking at me all weird, like, and like I mispronounced one word and I had to say a couple things in English because I just didn't know, and they were like, "Oh no, pinche güero," like you know what I mean? And so like, and I understand that, but it is still kind of rough
so
because
judgy.
because I get crap over there, but I come back over here and it's just like, "Oh no, dude, you Mexican, you Mexican, you Mexican." So.
Wow. Yeah.
So I mean, this is a great conversation. We can go on forever about it.
but
But I do have another one just because we I was curious about friendships between the opposite genders in the straight community. I mean, for one, I wish that
I'm not
Tavares was
straight.
no. I wish that Tavares was here to I just backtrack. I wish Tavares was here to be able to speak for himself. So maybe another time we could come back and speak to Tavares and his experience. But because Renee is here, I do want to speak about like straight relationships and having opposite sex friendships because I see on TikTok all the time or movies where the girlfriend doesn't allow the guy to have female friends and then the guy doesn't allow the girl to have male friends. So
insecurity.
I want to know is it toxic?
Definitely toxic.
Are straight people allowed to have friendships with
It'd be
opposite
like
sex?
in our community, you can't have another gay friend. Because I mean, that's kind of the equivalent. Because think about it, they're going to assume that you're the reason
two
why
guys.
the reason that women don't have men have other female friends because no, you're going to cheat on me with her. And there's a lot of that insecurity, right? And so when you look at it on our aspect. And we have that stereotype where we sleep with everybody and we're just so promiscuous and we sleep with our friends and shit like that.
You don't?
No, girl.
That's not what
he doesn't.
the football team said.
I have not slept with anyone on that football team, sweetie.
Yes, honey, yes.
No, I can. I'm commissioner.
You take advantage
For
of
2
him.
years.
Do you want to be a quarterback?
For 2 years.
You're about to be a wide receiver right now.
Wait, didn't you just join?
I'm a tight end.
He had to work for that discount.
Nah,
Goddamn
bro.
right I did.
No, shit, where was I going?
Ew.
So I think that like a lot of that can be the same, right?
50% off.
A lot of that, I think it could go both ways, even in our community. There's some insecure guys. For example, our friend who shall remain nameless is in a relationship that's very similar to that because his boyfriend will not let him have male friends, or especially
Really?
gay friends, because of the fact that they're all when he ended up coming out with me one night, and mind you, me and him go way back. When he ended up coming out with me one night, it was a fucking issue. Homeboy all but showed up where we were at.
Wow.
Dang.
Like that. So it's just to me, that's more an insecurity thing, and that's more of she don't love herself, or that kind of thing, rather than anything else. Because to me, that's toxic as fuck.
So straight guys can have friendships with straight girls. I think you have.
I mean, yeah, I've had relationships friendships with females.
I mean, you
and,
have friendships from high school that are female.
Yeah, exactly. They're female. We never messed around anything. Not even hold hands or pegs on the cheek. Nothing. And it's been strictly like that. But because I was with somebody who was insecure, Granted, I may have put some of those insecurities in there. I apologize.
Hey.
But
Sorry.
my bad.
Now's your time.
She's definitely watching.
Yeah, but no, like, but even prior to that though, like, I'm sure there was still some kind of like, I don't know about this person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it is hard because you're just like, you form these relationships since you were like younger, like whether it be middle school or high school. So there has been absolutely nothing like of the
It's
sort,
just platonic,
romantic,
always.
like
Yeah.
sexual, like nothing. Like you guys are just friends, you guys are just cool, whatever. It's like, and if there has been something like some kind of like maybe baby crush, that is long gone. That is like 10 years, 15 years in the past.
Yeah.
Like it is not there anymore. But it's still like some type of stigma. Like I know I didn't mind that she had guy friends because I had female friends that I didn't want to have sex with, like didn't have any kind of relationship with. And I'm pretty sure it could happen the other way around too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it kind of really depends on the person, I think. But I mean, even at that though, like you still can't help but feel like still kind of like, oh no, it's cool, but still kind of like, but what if? You know what I mean? Like you still get that thought. It's like, but what if this guy, like, you know, all of a sudden they get drunk one night. They're having a good time. They get drunk and all of a sudden, you know, things kind of take a turn.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
I always find it interesting to have to see like the straight guy and the straight girl they're dating, but she has a gay best friend, and that's completely all right always.
yeah.
Because he's not a threat.
There's not a threat, right?
Right.
Which is so crazy. Like there has to be a threat for something to.
That is a
to-
simple-minded, small-minded, insecure, toxic individual.
Indeed.
Indeed.
But again, with the
Indeed.
gay friend, they're always giving the same advice. Fucking dump him. Like it's over.
Girl, you
I
won't
mean-
let us go to brunch no more.
I mean, that's what he did. Fucking dump her, dude.
I didn't fucking say that.
Yeah, we did.
Shut up.
Oh, I'm like, yeah, we did.
She's gonna murder us.
Y'all remember Zips, bro? You're like, fucking dump her, bruh.
It's over.
She crazy. Well, no, like
We just led you to the conclusion that you already had in your head.
that you pointed
We
me in the
didn't tell you
direction
what
that
to do.
you
We
go.
just highly suggested.
Yeah.
And then like, but then like you said though, like, and now, you know, being with somebody who has like gay like best friends, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like there isn't like that thing, you know, but it is kind of funny because it's like, because she would joke around and say, oh, I'm asleep in the same bed with this guy. It's like, oh, but he's gay.
Your girlfriend has slept
Like-
with us so
like-
many times.
Yeah, and so I was just like,
I slept with
okay.
her in Puerto Peñasco.
Yeah, you
Expose
guys,
her.
you always tell me, I know.
Expose her.
You guys always let that out. So does she. So thanks, guys. I know.
You're welcome.
But then,
I saw her naked before you did.
yeah,
Me too. I saw her boobies before.
Oh
you
my
did.
god, I know.
I saw nothing. So
Thank you, Aaron.
You know, hope
He's
that
my
helps
favorite
you
right now.
out.
Thank you, dude. Thank you. But no, but then, you know, if I were to bring up the whole situation, which I'm sure like is just playful, you know, just back and forth. Like, all right, what if I slept in the same bed with like my friend who's like a lesbian? You know, absolutely fucking not. Like,
You think that she would say that?
she did say that. But it was all playful.
That was
But
my
it
worst friend.
but it was all playful. It was all
Don't
playful, just
say.
freaking back
I'm
and
a
forth.
friend.
Wow. Don't
No.
do that.
Ew,
can't be toxic,
Stop
but
being
we're
so
allowed to be.
toxic.
Girl.
No, but no, like I then like what am I
It
gonna
has
do?
to be
But-
fair all around. I think.
But then like how she even said, and like I thought in my head, why would I be in that situation to begin with?
I mean,
you know
you've
what I
been
mean?
in
Like-
bed with gay guys,
Yeah,
so she should be okay.
right? Exactly. So
That's true.
Yeah.
Standards.
yeah, I was the
Well,
middle.
good.
I was the middle.
No, I was the fucking middle. You
Goddamn right, you
liar, you fucking snoring son of a bitch.
were. You didn't move.
I didn't fucking sleep either.
You-
I couldn't.
and you didn't move.
Because I was contemplating suicide.
Damn, you're trying to get felt up first before you did, huh?
No,
Juan.
Juan already did. Okay. So this kind of segues not from friendship, but with exes. Can you be friends with your ex?
No.
Well, not you personally, with that person.
I tried.
In general.
No, here's what I follow a lot of self-help on TikTok, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I saw is and at least this was true for me. You can't be friends with an ex because at least not right away, right? Because I think that if you get out of a relationship today and you say we're gonna be best friends, There's because there's still feelings there. Either one of you still has feelings for the other, or two, the other person never gave a fuck about you.
Yeah. There's this couple on TikTok that is a gay couple, and they do videos together. They have their own account. They're always inside each other's videos.
Oh yeah.
And they recently broke up, right? And then, do you know what we're talking about?
And
I don't know what it is. No. It was a Hispanic guy. Two Hispanic guys.
Oh.
So they broke up, and they were like doing petty videos a little bit. And then like a week later, they would be in each other's videos again. And we're like, I thought you were single. And he's like, oh, we are single, but we're really good friends. And I was like,
Yeah.
Because I, in all honesty, like literally cutting off my ex the way that I did was the best thing for me because it helped me heal.
Yeah.
Mind you, it's been 3 years. I've seen him once. Well, twice, if you count the time I saw him at the bar. Twice.
Did you talk to him?
I've talked to him maybe 5 times since.
Did you talk to him at the bar though?
I said hi and that was it.
It doesn't count then. All right, just once.
Well, that's the thing. You gotta be honest with yourself. If you know deep down there could be feelings, or they might be dormant, but they're triggered once you hang out or something like that. I guess you just have to have that conversation, be honest with yourself too, and not put yourself in this bad situations. But I think we all do have those exes where it really wasn't a relationship. It lasted like this long, and you can be friends because there's just it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And there's truth.
So you just have to, I guess, open communication, but also be honest with yourself. Like, what is acceptable? What
is the point of having a platonic relationship with an ex? And how does that benefit me now? Like, does it bring me anything but pain and sorrow or jealousy or anything like that?
Or drama
or
whatever.
drama.
Because
exactly.
because when I was younger, I thought I could do that. I was like, hey, no, I'm cool with my exes, whatever. And then what happens? I go back and go have sex with them and whatnot because I was young and dumb. Like,
that's a good point too. Like, is it okay to have sex with your ex that you recently just broke up with?
That's what I'm saying. Like, and that's what was happening. Like, it was just all bad.
Yeah.
And now looking back on it, and even I want to say maybe 6 years ago, they were just like, hey, so do you want to be cool and hang out? And I'm like, you know what? Like, that's really not a good idea. That's we can't be doing that. I can't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing that. We need to move on because not only are we trying to revisit shit, we're holding ourselves back for somebody in the future and for ourselves growing and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's we really need to just leave it as it is, go on our ways, wish you nothing but the best of luck. Always gonna have love for you.
And I think there are exes like that. Because to your point, Alex and me, Alex and I was a very short relationship, very short-lived, and he lives in Chicago, but I can honestly say he's one of my best friends because of the fact that our communication style, we've been there for each other through breakups and stuff like that. And so to that end, absolutely. But Alex and I was short-lived. It was a couple months and that was it. Yeah.
Because me and Brad, we're also short-lived. And I think that helps a lot is not having years of history together. And, I think the time where we spent apart, we spent years not necessarily not talking to each other, but we weren't frequent with our communications. And then we eventually just hey, we're good. We've grown in the last 10 years and we're different people. You found somebody, I found somebody. Yeah. I'm going to Brad's wedding later this year. So it's it can happen. I think there's a lot of conditions that need to come together.
I think time is the biggest one. You can't jump out of a relationship and jump into a friendship. At least not for me, because I don't believe that.
It's not a switch to turn on.
Because you've never grieved the loss. Because because they say that losing a partner in a breakup is harder than losing a partner in life. And they say that because of the fact that when you lose a partner in life, when you lose when somebody dies, right? You know that there was an end. Does that make sense? Oh yeah. You know that they're gone. You know that relationship is over because they're gone.
The other side, one is they're living, breathing. They're out there.
You know they're out there. They're doing
wondering what they're doing
to somewhere else. Yeah, exactly.
So bump into them at the grocery store.
I think you need that period of grieving that loss. You know what I mean? Because it's at least for me, I can honestly say it was absolutely necessary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that in order for you to be friends again, you have to be able to completely disconnect your feelings and then take a step back and say, is this somebody who I want to be friends with? Is it going to be productive for me emotionally, mentally, physically? Is it somebody who's worth my time reinvesting in a different aspect? Because you got to remember, when you know somebody in a relationship, you know a lot more about them than you sometimes would know more than you do with friends. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you know them on an intimate level. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's I have to gauge that. You know what I mean?
And also on the other side, like the person that they're with, is it toxic to ask your boyfriend to not have a relationship with your ex? With their ex?
I don't think so. I think I think it's reasonable to have boundaries and say, hey, you know, that makes me uncomfortable, and here's why. Have the conversation and see how you feel after, but ultimately, it's if there's possible intimacy there or feelings or anything, I think you're justified, or the other person's justified in saying like, hey, you know, I don't need to be triggered. I don't need to be worried. And you being friends is creating unnecessary triggering and worrying. So then you fight and you go, it's me or him, you know?
Yeah, right.
I don't think it's unreasonable. Jump him.
I think it just depends on the person, because it also not only depends on your partner, but it depends on the other person.
Yeah, true. Because Jovan would never ask me to
it's different.
cut a friendship unless I gave him reason to.
It's
There you
different.
go.
I was just gonna
There
say
you
there's
go.
a line between like who you can and can't be friends with versus like which exes you can and can't be in contact with. I
Right.
think there is a line. I think
Yeah,
it's reasonable to
absolutely.
say that that exists, and it should. It's okay. Now, who you can and can't hang out with, like that's a whole nother, you know, dive into
Oh,
those
yeah,
lines.
absolutely.
That's a
Yeah.
whole other topic.
Yeah, well, man, I got a ton to talk about that.
We can keep going and going.
going, but we have run out of time.
Yeah.
But we'd like to thank both of you for coming, giving your
I know you'll
2
be back
cents.
eventually. We would love to have
We
you
would
back.
love to have you and Tavares
Oh,
back.
I got a call back. Is that my camera?
Is your time for another?
You gotta do the thing. You gotta do the thing.
Your camera. This is your
Okay.
camera
The
right
thing.
there.
Well,
Is that my callback?
I guess I'll have to check my schedule and
I'm
pencil
done.
this in.
And you're
This
uninvited.
was
Okay,
very,
she's
hey,
done.
coming out from the suburbs, I had to stop and get gas. I had to get a hotel.
Don't you work down here?
So,
Did you pack a lunch?
no. Work everywhere. No, I'm done.
Are you a whore?
As soon as I said
I
was
do
like,
house
come
calls.
back.
House calls.
I don't work everywhere.
I'm not touching
No, that
one.
is not correct.
Thank you, Aaron, local
Okay.
prostitute, for coming.
Flawless, I'll send you a copy.
Everything was great until I, just ruined it.
And, see, and to me, that's when it got amazing.
Shut up.
Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling.
Yeah. We'll just zoom me in next time.
Yeah.
Who knows where I'll
We'll do
be?
it dark.
I mean, this is the section where I put your go and tell us your socials, but you bitch don't have any
Don't have any
socials.
socials.
No, but
She's
you
done.
can find me in the suburbs, probably with a glass of Pinot Grigio in the bathtub. But if you do find me, leave me alone.
Don't talk to me.
I'm busy.
She's a
I
celebrity.
want to relax. I want to have a mask.
What if I'm delivering your Amazon package?
You can leave it. That's fine.
All right, cool.
Yeah, appreciate
the
that.
door.
Yay.
Oh my God.
It'd be good.
Tavares will kill you.
She's got that
See, all
in-house
the-
delivery. Just open the door, drop it next to the
Yeah.
door, and close the door.
Bring
Except
it here.
if they're like gummies or something, I'm gonna grab that from you so they don't melt.
What kind of gummies, huh?
Pick the blob out.
I'm relaxing.
Renee, do you want to say your socials? Do you care?
At Instagram at HeyJRene, HeyJRene.
Memo.
I am Insta_memo_mem on Instagram. Insta_memo_mem. Do you remember yours, sweetie?
Yes. Mine is Dangies86 on Instagram.
Took you fucking long enough.
Spell it
It
out.
took me a year.
Spell it
I
out.
can't spell.
You suck.
Anyways, thank you for joining us again. Come back for the next show. Memo has a great show coming up. You probably won't see us. You won't see this until the show is over, but we have Loteria every third Thursday of the month. Please join.
Is that this week?
Which we should
That's
do. We
to-
should do
that's this
but-
week.
But anyway, yeah. So join us for Loteria every third Thursday of the month at the Thunderbird Lounge. So please make sure that we all
8
work.
p.m.
What's that?
8 p.m.
8 p.m. We are working with Ripple Phoenix to continue testing in the valley. It's always very important to know your status. If you test negative, you can take steps to protect yourself. If you test positive, you can take steps to protect others. And that's the most important part, is the power of knowing.
And register to vote.
And what?
Register to vote.
Absolutely.
Yay.
Rock the vote,
All right,
y'all.
let's get these Dems in.
Come on, Blake Masters,
All
my
right,
man.
Bye.
Just kidding, you suck, dude.
The thoughts and opinions that are said or stated on this show do not necessarily reflect those of the Fuerte Network.